Hey YouTube, B3 here, back with another vlog. Haven't vlogged in a long time and I'm really sorry about that. Just, I live with a lot of people and there's never really a good opportune time to just vlog or even film anything for that matter, but now I got this place, so I expect it to be more frequent. But this vlog, it's over something I talk about a lot. As many of you know, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out May 2nd. I saw it on May 3rd, free comic book day. I figured, I would go see the premiere, but I had to work and, I was going to be in the city with the movie theater for a free comic book day anyways, so my buddies and I saw it then. And I guess this vlog's about my thoughts on it. Normally I don't do... Sometimes very rarely I'll do a movie review, sometimes. But very, very seldom do I do one right out of theaters. One that's still in theaters, by the way. I'm going to try to have this review up on the 8th, maybe. Got a lot of finals and stuff to study for. A lot of stuff to do. But I enjoyed the movie. A lot of people aren't enjoying it. And I think people are looking for reasons not to enjoy it. I think people are going into it thinking it'll be Spider-Man 3 because there are 3 villains, but it really wasn't at all Spider-Man 3. And people are also going into it negatively because they're thinking, oh, I don't need to watch this movie. It's not going to be part of the Avengers. Why do I need to see this thing? But if you're really big on Spider-Man, you do need to see this thing, because he has his big own universe going on, It's going to be cool like the Avengers, at least I certainly hope it is. And I feel like they're probably going to need to add more hero-type characters to the universe if they really want it to succeed. I'll talk more about that on my next vlog about the Venom movie, so be sure to catch that. But, anyways, now we really are going to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I did think it was good. Lots of people thought, as I said, that it was going to be overpacked with villains, and it really wasn't. People thought it was going to have these 3 big villains and have to focus on them, and it was like, oh no. But it didn't. It really had 2 big villains, Electro and Green Goblin. So that wasn't a problem. Sure, perhaps they were mushed together a little, and their stories overlapped, which should have happened. Definitely should have happened. If they were totally separate the whole movie, that would have just been weird and seemingly impossible, since Oscorp is really the main villain. Oscorp is the main villain. So, in a manner of speaking, there really is only one main villain. Oscorp. It's the cause of everything that's happening. Very Ultimate Spider-Man-esque. And they're the big villains. Green Goblin and Electro. Electro's the main one, Green Goblin's the secondary, and then the Rhino is only in the movie for, what Mark Webb said, for about 4 minutes, so that's fine. And before I go any further, I probably should have let you guys know this earlier. This is not a spoiler-free video. There are going to be spoilers. So if you do not want this movie heavily spoiled for you, get out. There's spoilers in this vlog, big ones. So just move along if you don't want to hear them. But it's the only way I can really truly define the movie is if I do spoilers for it. Which is, I hate, but I feel like some of the main things I need to talk about are spoilers. Normally I would try to keep spoilers out, but in this instance I really can't. So, just thought I'm going to say that. Spoilers from here on out, you guys. So, keep that in mind. But the Rhino was only in it for a few minutes. At the beginning of the movie, Spider-Man stopped him as he was stealing plutonium or something from Oscorp. And he was just a person. And it was fine, he stopped him. And at the end of the movie, he became the Rhino because Harry Osborn made him the Rhino. Harry Osborn and Mr. Fears are the ones getting the Sinister Six together, because there is going to be a Sinister Six solo film if this Spider-Man universe thing takes off. They already have 4 Amazing Spider-Man movies, Venom, and then Sinister Six. So we'll have that going for us. And that's the big setup. So instead of a big superhero team, it's going to be a big villain team. And once again, I will touch more on Sinister Six and Venom in my next vlog. So keep an eye out. Please subscribe, rate, etc. Sorry this is going so slow. It's just I really gotta... I got a lot to talk about. But that's cool. So Green Goblin was really a setup villain. Lots of people said they didn't think Green Goblin got enough attention. I think he got enough attention because he's obviously going to have much more later on. Well, it's not totally clear if Electro's going to have any more attention paid to him. He was obviously the main villain of the film. It was really cool. Jamie Foxx is a pretty damn good actor, and I think he did a wonderful job with Electro and just everything he did. I felt, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the comics, is the Shocker not a paranoid schizophrenic? Because Electro was kind of showing some signs of schizophrenia in this film. And a lot of my friends said they reminded him of Shocker, my comic friends that are real in the comics. And that did get me thinking. I think I might have one or two comics where the Shocker is portrayed as a paranoid schizophrenic. I don't know, it's been a few years since I read anything with a Shocker in it. But, who knows what's going on with that. So maybe they put elements of the Shocker in Electro. I'm not that deep into Ultimate, only Miles Morales stuff and a few Peter Parker things. I've been reading Peter Parker Ultimate now after I've seen the movie. I've started reading Ultimate Spider-Man and stuff because my friend's been picking it up and we swap comics. But I thought Electro was really cool. Had some really tight fight scenes with him. Special effects were great through the whole movie, not just that. Now I'm going to talk about music because that actually ties in with his schizophrenia. There's a little voice that talks to Electro in his head, and it tells him that people aren't there for him, everyone's plotting against him, that he needs to kill everyone, everyone's laughing at him. Even though Electro wants to be noticed because he was never noticed. And that voice is singing along with Electro's theme. Electro has a cool little theme song going, but that voice is like singing. And I thought that was weird. I also thought some of the non-score musical choices were weird. And I didn't feel like they fit with the flow of the film. I don't know why. They just didn't feel like they belonged. I mean, like, Hans Zimmer's score and stuff was all fine. And, God, what's the name of that other... Is it Pharrell Williams? Is he the other person that scored the movie? I can't remember. But I felt like some of the musical selections were out of place. I'm sorry, but I felt like that they were a little out of place. The beginning of the movie itself, also perhaps a little rushed. A lot of stuff felt a little rushed in the beginning. But as the movie went on, it didn't feel rushed anymore, which I thought was really good. I really liked how they kept from rushing a little too much, because they did pack a lot in there, but not too much. They did cut a lot of stuff out. They cut out all the sequences of Mary Jane Watson, which I thought was a good idea. I'll touch more on how they should include her in my Venom vlog. Please watch that. And then they also cut out another subplot with Osborn and etc. Some other stuff about Oscorp and his dad. They cut out a little subplot, but I guess that saves more for other films if they continue to touch on that. Speaking of Oscorp and his dad, he did find out a lot about his father, and that his father didn't abandon him. He left him there because he loved him, and that Oscorp was trying to take his studies and blah blah blah, and how he became Spider-Man and etc. But I don't really find it convincing that his dad had this big complicated underground base. Like an underground base that he just kind of found and took over. Made sense, but he has this like complicated electronic thing that comes up out of the railroad tracks, and it's an old train car, and it's got all this science stuff going on. And that didn't really... I was like, how did you afford that, Richard Parker? How did you do that? I don't know how he afforded that, how that happened. But it was there. They did touch a lot more on his parents, though. I don't know. So I guess that's good. And now we're going to talk about a big point in the movie. Big spoiler point, in case you guys didn't heed my warning. Gwen Stacy's death. A lot of people saw it coming, but one of my arguments was it's possible that Mark Webb might not kill off Gwen Stacy. Because a lot of Amazing Spider-Man is based off the Ultimate Universe, and she outlives him in the Ultimate Universe. I guess she's kind of dead for a little while with a symbiote, but that's all really complicated and weird, and I'm just going to say Gwen Stacy outlived Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe. She's still alive, as far as I know. I haven't read past Ultimate Cataclysm Spider-Man number 3. So, don't know. I didn't finish Cataclysm yet. And the day I'm filming this, the new Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man number 1 comes out. So, keep that in mind. But, she did die. And I have to say, the death scene was beautiful. It was done really well. And it kind of kept you guessing, too. But the foreshadowing for her death was really heavy. They just piled it on there. Anyone with like a basic understanding of film structure or comics saw that death coming at the very beginning of the movie. 5 minutes into the movie, you saw her death coming. In her valedictorian graduation speech, one of the first 3 words she uses is death. Talks about death in her graduation speech. She's gonna die. Huge foreshadowing. Huge. Also, there are scenes where Peter Parker's seeing her father, seeing Captain Stacy, which I didn't think were done very well. They didn't stick with it the whole movie. They did it a lot at the beginning, and then one time at the end, right before she died, he saw her, 10 minutes before her death. And it's like, that was one of the big, really thick foreshadowing points. Another thick foreshadowing point was that she was going to London to go to school, and he said he was going to come with her. He's obviously not going to London, right? And if he made the decision to go with her instead of her making the decision to stay, she's gonna die. And there was much more than that too. The foreshadowing was just slopped on there, like you were feeding a pig. If the audience were pigs and foreshadowing was slop, that's what it was like, just all over the place. Holy crap, the foreshadowing was way too heavy for her death. A little would have been nice, but at least the death scene was very beautiful. He shot a web. The web kind of turned into a little hand thing without looking ridiculous. Also, slow motion falling, like the falling that was done, which you can see in the trailer, because trailers are nothing but spoilers nowadays, which really pisses me off. Thank goodness the Godzilla trailers don't seem to have spoilers in them. I've also avoided a lot of Godzilla trailers. Any of them that showed the Mutos a lot, I've avoided. But the trailers kind of gave away her death and stuff, in my opinion, because they have that slow motion falling and etc. But as I said, the Captain Stacy thing, they did it several times at the beginning and then once at the end. And it wasn't dispersed throughout. And I felt like when he was on screen for way too long. They had a tiny little flashback about him, and that could have been enough. That really could have been enough. And the final fights at the end of the movie were cool. Really cool final Electro fight. Really cool final Green Goblin fight. The problem was the Electro fight ended, and then before you could even exhale, the Green Goblin fight started. The audience didn't have time to breathe between these 2 major fights in the film, and it was really crazy. There were a few things that didn't make sense with Electro and stuff, but they did as much explaining as they possibly could for Electro. You gotta keep an open mind. This is a comic book movie. If you get mad because things aren't explained in a comic book movie, you've obviously never read a comic book. Holy crap, comic books don't explain a lot of stuff, and when they do, it's usually bullshit science. But they're comic books. Gotta love them. Different medium and stuff. You gotta explain more in movies because it's for the general audience and whatnot, but yeah. But overall, I think The Amazing Spider-Man did a good job. You know, it wasn't as good as its predecessor, but it's a sequel. When are sequels ever as good as their predecessor, not counting, you know, Bride of Frankenstein, Anchorman 2, The Dark Knight, stuff like that. It was a good, solid movie. Worth seeing in theaters, worth owning, in my opinion. I'll be getting the Blu-ray. Spider-Man's my favorite hero, why wouldn't I? And that seems like a bias for this, but it actually, I think, makes me more qualified to talk about him in this way. I always watch a movie first for pure entertainment value and then analyze it later. I don't analyze it while I watch it the first time, because then I can't enjoy it as much. So pure entertainment value, this is a good movie. Analyzed, you know, stuff's maybe there are a few rushed parts. Some stuff could have been developed better. Glad they cut MJ. Glad they cut a subplot so they couldn't pack too much in. And there was a lot of good setup for Sinister Six. Very happy about that. So, yeah, that's it, you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Go see The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's a really cool movie. It'll be out for a while, so please check it out. I gotta get it more support so we can have more, you know. And, yeah, so that's it. So please rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Links to Facebook, Twitter. I'll try to include a link to the Venom video when I get that up in a little bit. That'll be really cool. Also be sure to check out other videos we have on this channel, other vlogs and stuff. I got some movie release videos that are little parodies I did. I don't know if I'm going to continue those. But yeah, I got, as I said, Facebook, Twitter. Follow back on Twitter when we can. We're at a follow cap right now. We need more followers. You got Super Friends Benefits, which is our gaming channel. We have The Slender Happening, which is our horror drama suspense miniseries going on. Check out that channel. Also Godzilla and Gigan, where you can see movie reviews for some movie reviews. Are also on there. They're going to be on here from now on, along with a new show I want to do called Episode by Episode that reviews complete TV seasons, episode by episode. And you can see action figure reviews on the Godzilla and Gigan channel. There's a link down in the description below. You got reviews of the entire Amazing Spider-Man 2 Marvel Legends wave, including the Build-A-Figure. When I'm uploading this, the entire wave reviews are uploaded except the Build-A-Figure. I still need to upload that. I don't think I'm going to upload it when I upload this. I'm going to upload my SH Monsters Destroyer review. But also check out lots of other cool stuff we have down there. Links to the last vlog and all sorts of cool stuff. So, yeah, that's it, you guys. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all for listening to me. Please check out that Venom thing. A lot of what I touched on in here is going to be touched on more in that. So please watch that. Thank you all so much, and I am going to see you all later.